on Chun today. So, oops, hang on, forgot to get my face cam on. There we go, that's a bit better. So I'm going to be working on Chun today. So this is one that I did a while back, and I did a video of it with the progress on my YouTube channel. And I was quite happy with the way that the things like the flesh tones turned out, the shading, and the glazing over the tights. So we got a very different colour on her legs than it is on, say, her arms. The one thing that I felt I let myself down on was the yellow. So I ended up having to do quite a bit of freehanding. And oddly enough, I'd actually run out of the wrong type of yellow as well. So this time round, I'm going to try using this Maskell stuff. I've never used it before, so you are literally witnessing the first time I'm ever going to be doing anything with this. And I'm going to quickly put this on and cover up the areas that I want to keep as yellow. So it's almost like we're going yellow deep down. Now you may see a little bit of pink creeping in, and the reason there's some pink is because apparently pink is the best color to undercoat, to base coat when you're using yellow. So that was just the first time I've done that as well. So lots of first in this stream. Thank you, Pete the Priest, for a hydrate, and I have my coffee. Yep, I've got talking already quite a bit. So right, so let's try this stuff out. So it's a liquid latex, and it does say to give it 15 minutes of drying time. So I'm just using an old brush for now, and a nice thin one so I can do some nice delicate layers. So I'm just going to work on the arm first. Now the idea is that once this is dry, and it does take about 15 minutes to dry, you should be able to I went into my camera, should be able to peel this off. How well this will work, I have no idea, but let's hope it'll work okay. I've also taken into consideration that, like I say, it's going to take about 15 minutes for this to dry, so I've got some of my Kerr City miniatures on standby, so I've got something else to paint. Otherwise you'll just be watching paint dry, which some people like, but I don't know if I can keep you entertained while that's happening. So I think because I'm going to be needing to peel it, rather than try and go carefully over the area that I want to mask, I'm just going to block it out completely, and I can do some very close detail work later on. Just so I've actually got something to grab hold of when I want to take it off. Right. With the key post, she's got a line running down there. Like I see, I'm just going to let that run in, because it's easier to touch up with the blue than it is to put several layers of yellow on. And this is probably looking extremely wrong because I'm essentially just painting her boobs at the moment. And the sleeves as well. This particular model has a lot more detail than the other one that I did. And I actually got these are Japanese garage kits, which I found there's quite a big market on a lot of the Asian web stores, and there's a lot of fantastic variety as well. Gives me a chance to really paint something different. be honest, it's starting to feel a bit thin. So I don't know how well this is working. So I'm just going to plop a little bit more on, I think, just to really put a thick layer on. Okay, I think that will do for now. And just going to put it over there in front. No, I'm not going to put it in front of a fan because I think the fan's going to blow it all over the place. But I'll put it to one side for now. And yeah, that's already starting to solidify on the brush, so pretty easy to come off though. I can literally peel it off the bristles. I think it is 75mm, but I believe that one's 75mm, but the sitting down one is definitely a lot bigger, so I'm not entirely sure what sort of scale it is. Yeah, actually I do want to say thank you to Carlos and Hamish. That stream was very interesting, and I think I learned a lot as well, because like I say, I tend to focus on the mainstream games. It's good to hear about other stuff. We better warn Hamish that I'm now up to 20,000 goblin doubloons as well, so I might start redeeming them soon. Okay, this is not coming out of the bristles at all, so I'm just going to carry on. So while we're waiting for that to dry, I've got this miniature from the Cursed City, and he's very much a Van Helsing type looking guy. So I'm going to be trying to paint a bit of brown leather, and I'm just going to make this up on the spot, to be honest with you. I'm going to try a bit of Rhinox hide, which is a very dark brown leather. I was thinking about going straight to the contrast paints, but I've been doing that a lot recently, and I just want to have a bit of fun with this and try something else. Right, so I'm just going to be looking at the leather areas and getting some good base coverage. I might do the lining on the inside a different colour as well. Well, thank you, Hamish. Yeah, I've actually started streaming on a Tuesday now with a gaming stream with a friend of mine, Mark, who sometimes pops in here as well. And earlier on in the week, we were streaming Crackdown. Won't be doing it next week because he's on annual leave, as am I. And he's actually busy on Tuesday, cycling across the country, oddly enough. He's a very keen cyclist. But it does clash with Hamish's stream. But if anyone can make it just before, because we stream at 7:30, Hamish streams at 8, even just a little bit, a half hour would be great fun. And we're quite funny guys as well. So if you like the sort of thing that Hamish and Bellalurian get up to, it's very similar, but it's Andy and Mark instead. So I'm just using Rhinox hide on this one, and Rhinox hide is a really lovely rich brown. Feels like it's got a lot of redness to it as well. I'll do the hat the same colour too, I think. And then I'm going to try a bit of stippling and weathering to make the leather look quite old. A lot. No, I think Carlos was right. It is he? I don't think Carlos did mean West Ham. Oh no, yeah. Sorry, I read that wrong. This is one of the things I can't do is multitask. So I'm not used to talking while painting. Or reading and talking and painting. Right. I'm not really sure where to go here because I might just cover all of it with Rhinox for now because it does appear to be some metallic sheets of armor which is splashed all over the duster jacket. So I'll probably pick those out later. Lots of pistols and stakes, and this guy's got a lot of armaments. Yeah, I'm gonna get Hamish to do a West Ham appreciation stream, I think, with all the doubloons. And I don't think anyone's gonna come close to Bellilurian with points. Okay, so I've got all the brown areas done. So I need to select a brush. I'm going to go with a bit of stippling with a slightly brighter brown, and we're going to move over to Mornfang. 60,000 points. Just doing a little bit of stippling on there just to give the duster cloak coat a little bit of texture, and I'm just going up to a lighter colour each time I do this. It is kind of a little bit wet still, the original Rhinox hide paint. It's not something I'm majorly concerned about at the moment. We might pop over and see how Chun Li's doing in a little bit. I'm surprised Bellilurian didn't spend them to be part of Hamish's bubble. Okay, again, I don't think you're going to be able to see much of this at all. Actually, in other news, I am actually getting a new camera on Tuesday, so I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a GoPro, and it's one of the new GoPro Maxes, which promises me 6K video as well as VR recording and 360-degree recording as well. So that's going to be interesting. I can't see what I would use the VR recording for. But hopefully it should improve the camera quality. And I've got my wife to thank me for that, because she's going to be, that's her birthday present to me. So thank you, Mrs. Andy. Right, I'm going to go up a step now. So we've done Rhinox Hide, we've done Mornfang Brown. I'm going to try and blend in a little bit of like a creamy colour. So I'm just trying to find something that looks about right. Let's go with Xandri Dust. A lot of these paints that I use are pretty much starting to be on their way out now, which is a bit disappointing. The Games Workshop stuff just doesn't last at all. When I was doing the yellow on Chun-Li earlier, I actually opened a Citadel pot of airbrush paint, and it had never been opened before, and sadly the paint needed a lot of stirring, which is pretty bad. But thank you, Katerina. It's 250 points. I'm doing a lot of stretching for you. There you go. Don't know if you heard my neck crack there. Sorry if anyone doesn't like that. Yes, we all need to have a good stretch, because I assume everyone's sitting down and watching this. So it's always good to check your posture. Have a good stretch. Make sure you're healthy. And now stippling on some more gas bone. Mostly because that Xandri Dust paint was completely no good whatsoever. I may have overdone it a little bit there. And then what I'll do as well is I'll stipple on some black in a short while. This is basically, I'm just, because the Morghast bone is so bright in contrast to the brown, I'm doing the stippling on the raised areas only, and then the black, the idea is doing it on the lower areas, so you kind of like get a stippling shadow, sort of. It's a good question, Hamish. As far as I know, the camera comes with two lenses, one either side. So, trying to see if I've got anything that remotely resembles a. Let's have a look at this work iPhone that I got. So, imagine that's your normal GoPro camera, and you're going to have a lens here. The idea with the 360 is you turn it on its side, it's got a lens on this side and a lens on this side. So in a way, you could get the full Andy experience. It might be an idea for me to actually try perhaps setting it above the desk, and then people will be able to view this a much better. Sorry, I was just reading Carlos's redeem be Hamish for a day, and I was like, I thought that was a genuine thing, and I had to be Hamish for a day. I thought Hamish was like trolling me by putting in new rewards. With VR videos as well, you don't, depending on the software, you don't necessarily need to have a VR camera. A lot of websites have plugins which handle it. I know Chrome definitely does. And I think if I was streaming on YouTube, you probably would be able to have the video and be able to pan around and have a look for yourself. I don't know if it'll work on Twitch, and to be honest with you, I don't know if it would work on YouTube streaming as well, because I only know of the YouTube VR videos. Having a VR headset is a lot of fun and it gets very immersive. There are some terrifying things on there, such as I once decided to watch a video of a guy jumping out of a plane with one of those squirrel suits, and that was quite breathtaking. I get cuddled by the dogs a lot. I absolutely love my doggos, and whenever I finish work, first thing I do is I come away from this area because I spend 8-9 hours a day literally sitting in this seat while I'm working during the week. And I always go downstairs to the living room and they will just both jump up on me. Miles likes to sit this side, and Gwen always sits on my leg. Gwen is a bit of a funny dog. She's really, really stupid. And I mean that in a nice way. She's just dopey, is what we call her. I need a pokey stick. Whoa. Just had a paint explosion. Right, so we're just adding some black grey now, and again more stippling just on the lower areas, and then hopefully we'll have a look at Chun-Li and see if that latex has dried. I'm actually going to mix that black with a bit of the darker brown as well. That is actually a very strong black grey. We'll go glossy black instead. Okay, now stippling the lower areas. Oh, that's way too much. I've gone too much overboard with the stippling again. Try and blend that in. Okay, so I'm actually quite happy with that for now. So let's go and have a look at Chun-Li. And that is still wet. But it is actually solidifying. So currently it's quite sticky to touch, and I reckon if I was to drag my thumb over, I'll probably be able to peel that right off. It's not something that I want to do. However, I don't think it's far off from drying, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the paint ready for her skin. So what I did last time round, I used 2 skin tones, and it's basically a natural flesh and a highlight skin. And I'm going to run it through the airbrush. A little bit thinner. And a drop or 2 of flow improver. And then we get a rubbish brush, which I just use for stirry mixy time. Quick tap. Yep. And we have skin tone coming out. So get a glove out. Yeah, paint explosions are always fun for the viewer. I might actually just use the airbrush to try and dry it. Let me know if that's too noisy for anyone. No, I tell you what, we're going to stick with this guy for a bit now, I think. Right, so with the stippling all done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to trying to tie the colours together. So we've got a lot of cream, we've got a lot of brown, mostly brown, and some black in the recesses. And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to use Agrex Earthshade as a glaze. All good noise-wise, thank you. So rather than letting it run into the channels, what I do with using it as a glaze is I just keep moving it around a lot on one area. It doesn't always work, but it looks okay. Another way that I like using Agrex Earthshade is through the airbrush. And oddly enough, that is how I managed to get the stockings tight effect on Chun-Li there. That is all just Agrex Earthshade through an airbrush. You need to be very careful with the PSI, because if you've got too much pressure, it just blows the wash all over the miniature, and that's what you don't want. So it's kind of keep the pressure down low. Oh yeah, like I say, Hamish, I love having an airbrush. I love using an airbrush, and there's so many techniques you can learn. A lot of people just think just use it for basing, or the really clever people use it and do extremely fine art. But when it comes to miniature painting, there's just, I mean, I don't feel like I've even barely scratched the surface of what I can do with it. And a lot of people just tend to use it as an extra tool, but I would like to learn a lot more. I would love to do a lot more canvas painting as well with the airbrush. I've put contrast paints through it. I've put washes, and like I say, the washes work out really nice with the glaze. Pretty much every type of paint that I own, I've managed to put through it. I've put the color shift ones from Green Stuff World through it, and like I say, that covered it beautifully. Alright, this is the paintbrush that I actually used for the latex, and it's absolutely knackered now because it's the little bit of that latex has finally dried on the end. Yeah, I might just leave it in the latex, and then I've got a latex brush then, haven't I? So it's going to be interesting watching the latex work, because one thing I do eventually want to get into at some point in the future is creating molds out of latex. And I know there's a lot to learn there. I reckon that'll be a lot of fun. Right. Chun-Li looking. I'd say that's pretty much sticky to touch. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray the first layer of skin on, and then we'll bring it up to a high highlight. So we'll just go with it for now. And quite clearly, I've picked the wrong skin tone today. I wanted something a lot darker. But I'm also trying to keep shadows in there as well, so it's not too bad. I would love to hear some Portuguese. Little bit of a interesting fact is me and my sister did the DNA test to find out more about my ancestry, and I expected it, to be honest with you, as expected, most of it came up Irish with a very small amount of English in there as well. But what surprised us, and we'd never known it at all, I actually turned out there's a very small part of me is actually Portuguese. I have no idea what part, or anywhere in my family history where it came from Portugal. But it's something I would probably love to look into a lot more. It's unfortunate that a lot of the Irish registers sadly don't go far back. Yes, we may be cousins. So actually, my friend and work colleague Paolo, when I found out about it, I told him, and he said, "Right, we're going to have to start teaching you Portuguese," and I have forgotten absolutely everything. I do work for a Spanish company, and I know I expected it to be very similar, but no, it's not. Just the pinky finger is, yeah, Portuguese, so about that much. Oh, sorry, I thought Katerina was talking about my pinky finger. My pinky finger not looking Portuguese enough. Okay, this is me trying to darken the skin tone a bit now. I do feel like I've completely screwed this one up. Okay. Right, the good news is I am keeping some shadows in there. Probably not coming across too well. The weird thing for me at the moment is I've got nothing to contrast against the skin tone. Because I'm using the airbrush, literally the entire thing looks skin tone and yellow with a little bit of pink and some purple of the latex thrown in. So hopefully once we I tell you what, I'm gonna dry that, and I think we'll get a coat of blue on next. No, we'll let that dry and we'll see how we get on. In the meantime, I'm going to go back to our Van Helsing guy. Right, did anyone see where I put the Van Helsing guy? There he is. Okay, so let's have a look at him, and we have what I would call wooden stakes. We have a sword, which is very much in a cruciform, and we have a satchel on his back. So I think what we'll do is satchel using snakebite leather contrast paint, because that should be a quick way in. And I will have to go shortly, I'm afraid. Let's say I've got a plumber coming. Okay, I'll probably post some pictures of the progress on both of these up on Twitter later on today. Anything that you feel like could do better. I mean, I've done snakebite leather on the satchel, and obviously that's come out very different to how I've done the leather on the duster. And I don't know if the two styles are too much of a contrast, but I think I wanted to have different types of leather, because leather's quite I love leather jackets, and it works well to protect you in many ways. But brown was the plan for this guy. It's not too sure if the contrast paint and the leather effect I've done really works well or not. But wooden stakes, a recipe for mouth splinters. Excellent. I actually had steaks last night. My mother came round, so I actually had a hug with my mum for the first time in about 18 months. And it was absolutely fantastic. And I cooked dinner for her and my aunt. My aunt's moved up to near me as well, which is great. I got more family around, and it was just really fantastic getting to see my mum. So for those of you who've been apart from loved ones for a long time, I do hope that you get to see them soon. Right, it is coming up to 11:50 here, so I'm going to stop for now. And like I say, I would normally stick around, but as soon as the doorbell goes, one of my dogs will literally start the war cry and go barking at the door, which then sets Gwen off, and then she feels like she has to join in. And that would be a horrible way for me to end the stream. So I'm going to finish it now. Thank you ever so much for hanging around. Sorry I never seem to get around to finishing anything, but it's an interesting experiment with the mask skull, and I'll see how that works when I peel it off. I might just try peeling some of it off now. Probably want to do it with a dry brush, I think. This is where it's not going to peel off, isn't it? No, it doesn't seem to want to peel off, and I'm probably going to damage it. Don't know. Oh, actually, it has peeled off, and it is yellow underneath. Unfortunately, the fact that I've... Oh, here we... Okay, that's worked really well. I don't know if you can see it peeling off. I really should have worked with another colour before I peeled it off, so I'm going to do that. But that's worked perfectly, actually. Brilliant. Happy days. Okay, well, yes, hopefully no giant green pipes. Right, so thank you ever so much, and big special thank you to Hamish for allowing me to stream on his channel, and love you all. See you all next week. If not, I'll see you sooner. Take care. Bye bye.